You got a nice little folder there. I brought an old Granddaddy Barlow in case you weren't carrying something you could slice with.
Oh, try to carry a knife.
I'm surprised the turkeys are able to overwinter the way that they roost up in the trees. I guess they have pretty good insulation.
They're doing something right because
Yeah.
they are surviving and they're thriving.
Thriving is definitely the right word, yeah.
I know we had a flock in the village that I live in, and years ago, she's now deceased, one of my neighbors used to feed the wild cats, the feral cats, which I had a hard time with. But anyway, the turkeys were so habituated, they would come up and they would walk onto her porch and they would eat the cat food that she left out for the cats. And so every morning I'd see her chasing the turkeys down the sidewalk with a broom because they were stealing her cat food. She liked the cats, but not the turkeys.
Everybody loves cat food. Possums and raccoons also. And coyotes. I've seen coyotes eating cat food. I've yet to hear of a wolf eating cat food.
Well, it's fish-based, I suppose. And
yeah.
Stinks nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny to look outside where there's where my mom is fond of feeding feral cats. So
oh, she's one of them, huh?
Yeah. And when I was growing up, one particular farmhouse we lived in, we had, I don't know, probably 13 cats, if I remember correctly, that were, some of them were inside cats, some of them were barn cats, some of them, who knows where they came from. And I remember looking out one day and seeing all the cats, 2 raccoons, 2 possums, and a coyote hanging out around the barn, probably waiting to eat one of the cats.
Exactly.
But everyone was getting along, which is kind of a unique situation because cats, raccoons, and possums shouldn't necessarily get along. But there was an abundant food source. So
it's beautiful nature.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves each other.
Mm-hmm. It sort of looked like a Disney movie, a little bit. But when there's an abundant food source, they don't have to fight over it. So that is not an encouragement to feed feral cats or wildlife. I disapprove of those actions.
Yeah, the number of songbirds that feral cats consume is staggering.
Yeah.
Now, when you were in Kansas, you had a cat that was hanging around, wasn't it? Was that when you had moved your parents back to Kansas?
Yeah. So, Mom was feeding cats in Pennsylvania too, and there were a few of them that were pretty nice, friendly cats, and she took a handful of them to Kansas, and.
Because Kansas doesn't have enough cats.
And they're inside cats. They're not semi-feral like they were. They're a big, fat, lounging about inside cats.
Do you find that cats like the smell of tobacco?
Yep, cats crawl all over me.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
They just love it. It's like catnip almost.
Yeah. Yeah, my friends have a cat that crawls up on my shoulder, and he doesn't care if I'm smoking a pipe or not. And one of the ways to make friends with cats is to show them things. So I tend to show them, if they're a little spooky and you can't pet them, I tend to show them a pipe or a pocket knife, closed, of course. And they'll usually kind of come up and, well, what do you got there? They'll check it out, and you can make friends. But yeah, they don't.
If you want to make friends with a cat, yeah. Cats really don't have friends. I'll tell you
that. They're pretty fun. They can be fun. Every once in a while, you meet a cat that's quite a character. Some of them seem to have nothing on their mind but lounging about and eating, and other ones are a little bit smarter than your average house cat.
Yeah, we have a cat now that came a few springs ago, I guess, two springs ago. The feral cat had a litter in our window well, and the mother ended up taking all of the cats except for one kitten away. And this was just a tiny little kitten, and I figured it would die. And I suggested perhaps a shovel would be the best solution for the cat. no, we're going to try to save it. So
Right.
the wife and the kids tried to save it and did, survived, and it's now living happily in the house. And much to their chagrin, it doesn't care anything for them, but it wants to cuddle with me and climb up all over me. So,
That's how it goes.
so yeah.
Cats don't do what you want them to do.
Cats behave on their own terms.
That's
all
right.
there is to it.
Which is perhaps why I kind of identify with them somewhat. Most of them don't care to please. They do what they like.
Yeah, no, there's no pleasing. Although, I have seen where they will fetch and they will carry and they'll bring in their dead and show you and say, aren't I good?
Yep.
Look at what I did.
Here's a squirrel liver.
Yep.
Would you like to share this?
Here's a mouse.
What have you got for a lighter here?
That is an old Nimrod Commander.
Huh. I've never seen one quite like that. That's pretty interesting. Obviously a pipe lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Nimrod. So there's another word that people throw around without knowing the original meaning.
The Great Hunter,
Yeah.
or the Great Deceiver, I suppose, depending on the story you listen to. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever showed that on the Nimrod Commander, Cincinnati, Ohio.
I have a little bit different attitude toward pipes than some folks do. I don't collect pipes, I accumulate them. And my pipes get used. If you look through my bag of pipes here,
That's just filthy.
I
I can't
it's-
believe you smoked
yeah,
that.
it's clean on the inside, but the bowl has all kinds of carbon all over the top of it, and I prefer them that way. Ben, the artful codger, accused me of overcaking my pipes when he had a chance to look at them. And I do. I tend to keep about a nickel, U.S. nickel or dime thickness of cake in the pipe.
Nope. When it gets to the thickness of cardstock, it's time to clean it out.
Time to clean it out.
Time to clean it out.
But that's easily, maybe slightly.
It's getting close. Well, on this side, it's
Yeah.
it's getting close.
Yeah, it's
Maybe a dime, a little over a dime.
yeah. So that's when I tend to ream them out, when they're about like that. I don't know if the camera will pick that up or not. Probably not. The lighting isn't great. Nope. But I like a lot of cake in most of my pipes. I find that it smokes cooler and drier, but that is somewhat dependent on the pipe. Some of my pipes smoke better with no cake in them at all. But the majority of the ones that I tend to smoke all the time, I smoke them all the time because they smoke well and they have a pretty well-developed cake. So you just got to figure that out on your own. People develop different opinions on things, and it's whatever works for you.
To cake or not to cake?
Cake or not
That is
to
the
cake.
question.
Exactly. What type of lighter to use? Matches, burning cedar, hemp string was popular there for a while.
with the wax-coated hemp.
Yeah.
Oh, as far as pipes, I don't think we did that. It is a Stanwell Amber. I think this is an 88.
Yeah. This is a
That filthy thing is
this
what?
filthy thing is an old Peterson, and I don't know how old, but I think it's from the late 60s or early 70s, if I remember correctly when I looked it up. Can't even read what it says on the side at this point. Somebody enjoyed this pipe well before I got it. This one had so much cake in it that you couldn't have put a cigarette in the middle of it.
I don't understand how that ever happens.
They don't have a reamer, I guess. But that's what they used to do, right? The old
You
guys.
smoke them until they clog, and then you throw them
Throw 'em
away,
away.
to get a new
Yeah.
one. I mean, it was a tool. It wasn't a work of art or whatever.
And that's kind of how I treat my pipes, but I do take a lot better care of them than that.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. But yeah, my pipes are working objects. Right? They're also things of beauty, but they also get knocked around in my pocket and used, smoked a lot. I don't have too many that I keep pristine, other than I do regularly clean them on the inside.
See, you have an apple. That's a lovely little apple off there.
Yeah. So
Is that a tinderbox?
it is. That was my first pipe.
I have the same. Is this France? Made in France?
From what I remember, it doesn't say on there. It just says tinderbox.
I have same shape. I think it's a saddle bit, but it's rusticated underneath. I think it's called this tinderbox Sahara.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what year that was from. Lovely shape.
Yeah, it's got some beautiful grain to it.
Got bird's eye on the bottom of it. Apples. When they pick an apple, they always tend to be nice, in my opinion. You get the bird's eye and you get the flame grain up the side, even on low end pipes. It seems.
Yeah, it's amazing how well this one has stood up over time too. But I think that's what I'm going to try in this one because I primarily smoke aromatics in this pipe, and it has very little smell to it. So
Well, that's an aromatic, so there's no mistaking that as an aromatic. It's a good tobacco,
I think
and it's got awesome
beautiful
tin art.
Tin art. But, that, of course, that's a thing of the past at this point with all the.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to come out with like as the insert as a sticker. You know,
That's an excellent idea.
That would be so cool. You open your tin, you got a nice little sticker you can put over top of the government propaganda.
Well, I've seen where some tins the government propaganda is a sticker on top of the other one, and you can pull it right off.
Yeah,
But that's becoming less.
very difficult to find.
Yeah. Not recommended. Nice hiss. Oh yeah, that smells good for sure.
Well, it'll taste just like it smells.
That smells like a cereal I remember from childhood.
Blueberry?
Something like that.
Count Chocolate and Blueberry, maybe?
Something like that.
I don't know if they still make that. Ugh. I think there's more sugar than there was grain.
Yeah, I think it was just malt and sugar and artificial coloring and flavoring. Yeah, it is pretty. That's one of the things that I appreciate about popping a tin is the actual appearance of the tobacco too. You know, that's part of the enjoyment. It's my usual workhorse haunted bookshop doesn't have much visual appeal. It's pretty. And it's dry. It's not all that moist like I would have expected. So that seems to be about the right consistency.
It's a lovely tobacco. It's just it's a flavor I don't care for. So
High traffic area today, but we are approaching the 4th here. So
we are. It's almost the 4th of July. It's the Sunday before. Today's the
30th.
30th.
Yep. For once, I actually know the date. That's not normal.
I don't. I'm on vacation. I know it's a Sunday. That's all I know. Which is the reason I've come to Cathedral Point.
Yeah, I wondered if you would make the connection that part of my suggesting Cathedral Point was that we would be
Here on Sunday.
here on Sunday. Yep. This is my church.
God's Chapel.
That's right. Oh, wow. Yep.
Try the retrohale on that. It's staggering beautiful.
Oh, that is a completely different, on the retrohale, it's a completely different.
Yeah. All of the berry flavors separate and they come out into this beautiful, beautiful flavor.
Almost have it right here.
Try the Nimrod. You'll never go back.
Yeah, that's very pleasant. Very pleasant. Definitely dessert.
Good. I'm glad you like it. I'll send you the other 6 tins.
That, so you bought it in bulk, eh? Or bulk tins?
I think I have one other unopened tin. So I've been gifting them away as I can because I do like berry flavored tobaccos. Some of the Yuli's B&J mixture or something like that has a nice berry flavor.
Yeah, there's no bite from that either. It's quite smooth. Yeah. So, definitely identifiable as a Dan tobacco, for sure. From the flavor, and I used to smoke a lot of Dan tobaccos when I had access to a pipe shop years ago. I'm kind of used to their identifiable something.
Yeah, I find that from a lot of blending houses. You get that throughout the entire line. You get that same, whether it's the casing that they use in the first place. It's probably the casing more than the top notes. Like the Sillums line, I love all of the Sillums tobaccos that I've had. They all seem to have this, whatever it is that they use in their casing is just really appealing to me.
Yeah, the Sillums tobaccos I have had have a tanginess to them that I find pretty enjoyable.
Do you smoke filtered pipes?
Recently, Brad over at Pipes and Kayaks, who I refer to as my pipe benefactor, because he sent me quite a few pipes. He went through some issues a while back where he had to switch to all filters, and there's been a few of those that didn't work out for him, and he sent them my way. And I have found that I can now smoke McBaron tobaccos again because I have filter pipes.
Because you have filters?
Yep.
I do find a lot of filters really take the highs and the lows out of the smoke, and it allows you to separate many more flavors. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah, I have 4 filter pipes at this point, and I've tried a lot of different things in them. I don't like to smoke what we call English blends in them. But anything else, any of the flavored tobaccos, any of the burleys, I always try them out in the filter pipe. And I haven't quite got a hang of the charcoal filter yet. I use the Savinelli balsa wood filters. So there's one of the filter Savinelli pipes.
Okay.
Actually, the other thing that I like about them is that I can...
Oh, so that's the 9mm.
9mm,
that's the
yeah.
9mm.
I don't have any of the 6mm.
Okay.
The thing about those is I can take those out and dry them and use them again.
Do you ever pluck them in like alcohol to...
I have.
Okay.
Yep. I found with the charcoal filters I get one smoke, and then if I try to smoke it again even after I dry it, it's unsatisfying. And I'm a bit of a miser, so...
Yeah, that's shocking. I'll usually smoke a charcoal filter, and I'll pull it out and I'll dry it out, and I'll usually get 2 or 3, sometimes 4 smokes before I throw them away.
What brand are you using? Brand of filter?
Most of them are the Fallon Dr. Pearls.
Okay.
I tend to use those, but I also have... I like the Stanwell, but I haven't been able to get those recently. Stanwells aren't quite as restrictive in their draw. And I know I got a whole bunch of Hilson filters, which are somewhere in between the Stanwell and the Fallon for the amount of restriction that you get. But I don't mind the restriction. It's not a problem in my mind. You mind if I try some pebble?
Yeah, please do. I also have some Sunday picnic here from Cornell and Jill.
That's just so perfect.
Right? And this was I forget what year, I think 2011. This 10, I found it in a pipe shop on the back shelf in Pennsylvania. The tin art was yellowed from all the tobacco smoke in the pipe shop. quite a selection with you.
Well, that one's had a couple bowls through it, so I figure it's time to let that one dry. That one started with, what did I start with? Oh, House of Yulee.
House of Yulee. Yep.
House of Yulee was on the walk, which is I think it's primarily Cavendish.
Beautiful smell.
A little bit of maple syrup. Real. I don't know how to be kind to autumn evening because I can't. I don't really like it. So I like the smell of the House of Yulee, and it's very, very light as far as the maple topping. I know you said you like Haunted Bookshop. So are there a lot of Cornell and Beale blends that you enjoy, you like? I haven't found many that I like. That's the reason I ask.
That's a hard question to answer. I don't care for their aromatics.
Okay.
I don't remember having any of their aromatics that I enjoyed.
I've only had the Autumn Evening, which I don't like,
Yeah, I'm
and
not a fan.
apricots and cream, which I don't like.
I don't like that one either. I like the Burley blends, and I like their Burley. And I also like some of their. I'm trying to remember. Mountain Camp is a favorite of mine.
I've heard of it, never had it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heavy Latakia blend, isn't
It
it?
is. Yeah. It's a pretty stout tobacco, all around.
I miss McClelland. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
Well, I started out, the first quality tobaccos I had were McClelland tobaccos, so that's what, for many years, all of my other smoking was based against their particular style, because that's what I knew and liked. So I do miss them, but since they're not available and I'm not a rich man,
Yeah, I'm not going to pay
So-
that kind of price and what's left.
so I've turned heavily toward C&D, and I've tried a lot of their blends to the point where I don't remember all of them. But Haunted Bookshop is definitely one of my working blends. It just fits. It's fairly simple. And Sutliff. I've started to smoke quite a few of the Sutliff blends.
This is Sweet Vanilla or Sweet
Virginia.
Virginia. This is good. I don't know if you've had they're now coming out with a sort of a red cake like.
I haven't had it.
It's good. It's not nearly the depth of flavor that 5100 had, and the acetic acid smell that you get, the ketchup or the barbecue, whatever it is, it's really acetic acid.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more of a single one note on the Sutliff tobacco, but it's close. It's nice to have it around. So I've been jarring up some of that just to kind of come close to their McClelland, Virginia type taste.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
Yep, I just got this in the mail. It smells good.
Mhm.
Pretty sure I'm going to like it based on the smell and the Virginia slices. So Haunted Bookshop and Virginia slices. And then, as you were laughing at earlier, the blend I call Old Codger, which is Carter Hall and half, mixed half and half. I just dump both the pouches into a jar and let it sit for about 2 weeks. And then put it in a hot windowsill or the dash of my car on a warm day, and I open it, and then it dries out enough that it's pleasant to smoke. And that's what tends to be in my tobacco pouch.
And walking behind him on the trail, it still smells like half and half.
Half and half is the stronger flavor of the two.
Mm-hmm. Sort of a cherry spun sugar flavor that I get from it. Because what else can impart that unmistakable red color to the half and half? Maraschino cherry juice, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know either. I know what I taste in it is I think it's cardamom. It's a little kind of an aftertaste that it has that's pleasant. I think it's cardamom or something similar. But it's quite a gentle blend. those two together. So that's what I've been smoking the most of. I like some of the Hearth and Home blends too, which I think, doesn't Sutliff make the Hearth and Home blends?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 10 to Midnight has been a long time favorite of mine, and Fusilier's Ration, although I did get a bad 10 of Fusilier's Ration recently.
Was it moldy or
It was not moldy, it just wasn't, the flavor wasn't there.
Wasn't there, huh?
And it wasn't dried out or any, it just, I don't know, the flavor wasn't there.
That's
Actually, what it was, the Latakia flavor wasn't there. It was mostly the kind of licorice sort of flavor that's, the top note was the predominant flavor. Yeah, I like the lighter stuff once it gets warm out. This is a favorite of mine, although I'm not able to get it all the time, the Reiner Golden Flake. Really like this stuff. But I tend to smoke the Sutliff Virginia Slices over that.
Is this Cole Austin Cop? Do you know?
I don't know.
Who's blending that for them?
I don't know who's blending that, but it's good. I like it. I know some people find it kind of bitey and they get a sour flavor from it, but those are two of the pleasant things I find about it. But it's harder to get. So that's kind of a special smoke for me. Harder for me to get, I should say.
Yeah. Who do you order from? Typically, who do you order from?
Typically pipes and cigars. Or, no, that's not correct. Smoking Pipes
Smoking Pipes?
is who I order from most of the time. I will order from Pipes and Cigars because they carry some other blends that Smoking Pipes doesn't. But I find the service better with Smoking Pipes, so that's who I stick with typically.
Well, if you ever get a chance to go to Tobacco Pipes, tobaccopipes.com, I kind of go back and forth between Smoking Pipes and tobaccopipes.com. It's a little shop in Florida.
Okay.
Real nice service, and I placed my order, and I think the tobacco's there in 2 days. $75 order, free shipping.
Yeah. Yeah, I always end up spending a little bit more with Smoking Pipes than I intended to just to get the free shipping. I've never ordered cigars online yet, so.
I've never gotten into cigars. There's just something about the taste of a cigar that I don't particularly like. I don't know what it is. It's just they all seem to have the same. There's not the variety. Yes, there are different wrappers and different flavors, but they all seem to have that same. This is a cigar taste, and I'm not going to drift too far away from that. Unlike pipe tobacco.
Yeah, I've been known to smoke backwood cigars from time to time.
What were those things you were smoking in your last video? With the birch wood tip or whatever the hell they were.
Complete junk. I do not recommend them. They were, the hell were they? Jewels. Yeah, that was pure nostalgia. Yeah.
Deja Vu, Stanwell Amber. I think it's a 182. I believe it's an S-bang shape. It's a lovely bent apple.
An old tinderbox pipe that I typically refer to as an author shape. Yeah.
I'd say that's an author, as is this, but...
I've got a Stanwell in here that, Stanwell Zebrano. Pretty close.
Yep.
This was,
Those are cute.
one of the first quality pipes I bought, and I only smoke flakes in it today. That's what it seems to like. But, yeah, Devil's Holiday in an old tinderbox. Pretty good. Yeah, I could see getting into this as something an aromatic that I would keep on hand. Although I've noticed.
Oh, I've kept it on hand.
Yeah. I've noticed that several times I've looked on Smoking Pipes, it's been gone or sold out. So it must be pretty popular.
A lot of people like it. I think it's a very nice tobacco.
I like it better than that called Blood Red Moon, which I was keeping around for when I got burnt out on everything else. If you like a heavy chocolate cherry blend, that Blood Red Moon is the answer, I think, but or one of the answers. But this is different and unique, and not nearly as heavy. I don't feel like I'm smoking a candy shop here, although I can't taste the tobacco at all. It's completely flavoring to me, but it tastes good. I couldn't tell you what the base tobaccos for this are at all. I can't taste them.
I'm pretty sure the base tobacco is Black Cavendish.
Yeah.
And then there's just enough Virginia leaf, bright Virginia thrown in to give it a little color and
Make it pretty.
So I've been smoking the open tin I have with mixing it with some red Virginia. Considering the size of this lake, there's not a whole lot of boat traffic. I would have thought it'd be busier.
I've seen it busier. I've been out here in my canoe where I had difficulty with the wakes from all the boats crisscrossing.
Yep.
There's enough waves on this lake as it is to deal with in a 12-foot canoe.
That's a good sized piece of water.
Yeah, this is a pretty special place to me. I lived here long enough. I'm really connected to this place. It's good to be back. It's been around 4 years since I've been here.
Ah, yes. The surf from the boats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't recommend drinking untreated wild water, but I have drank water out of this lake, and it's quite clean tasting, like Lake Superior is once you get out on it. Dip a cup in and drink it. I don't recommend that you do that.
No, and there is no safe surface water in the United States, or in the world for that matter, to be dipping a cup into untreated.
But I have done
Unless, of course, you have a good health plan.
Yeah, I have done it, and this water tastes quite clean. There isn't any added flavor.
Yeah, no. Even when we were talking about canoeing the Boundary Waters area in Quetico Provincial Park. Even that water, yes, it would be filtered.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been brave enough to dip a cup. Although there is I take that back. There is a little spring-fed creek, which has a active spring that I have actually dipped a cup into once, with no ill effect.
Yeah, you might get away with it. Yeah. Well, I drank nothing but wild water for a year when I was living in the woods, drinking out of springs and lakes and chopping through ice and getting water. Once again, I'm not endorsing that. It's a bad idea for a regular civilized person. However, if you don't have anything in your stomach and you haven't eaten all day and you drink that water, you've got less of a chance of ending up with something. It's been my experience, but I don't recommend it. I tend to use Sawyer Squeeze filter these days when I use a filter. Otherwise, I tend to just boil water and let it sit.
I find that takes so long, just so long, and so much wood, and I find the filtering is just a much more convenient way.
It is, yeah. But
certainly must be humid because there's a whole lot of relights going on over here.
well, we're talking also. So now that I'm down to the bottom of the bowl, the flavor is definitely different. It's more of a perfume flavor than a specific berry flavor. It's just slight flavor. Not at all goopy. I haven't had to run a pipe cleaner through this.
That stuff will never leave your pipe wet. Not even on a humid day like today.
Yeah, no gurgle and no goop.
So it's black Cavendish, but you felt the consistency. It's not a flavored black Cavendish. I don't think. I think it's a unsweetened, unflavored Cavendish.
Yep, I think this just replaced a few of my other aromatics. But I'm fond of Dan tobaccos anyway.
And we're back, part 4. When last we saw our superheroes, they were talking about Dan tobacco.
All right.
And I was regretting the fact that I didn't bring some Blue Note to bring back more memories from Timberdrifter.
Well, shall we sign off?
I think you've sat through enough of this, so I hope you are doing well. Take care, and perhaps we shall see you again.
Go outside.